Hello, my name is Blake Patterson, and welcome to Real Values. On this week's episode, I discuss Matt Johnson's Tony. For all the reviews that have noted how cliché they found Tony, I was simply taken by how effortlessly charming it was on its own terms. Although there are certainly familiar aspects that you would expect from a coming-of-age movie, Tony is so joyous in its lived-in, atmospheric interest that you never doubt what you are seeing on screen, while his previous work, especially Blackberry, felt strained and superficial. Johnson succeeds in approaching this material that he has written with Matthew Miller, Todd Bartles, and Lou Howell by channeling the laid-back sensibility of a filmmaker like Richard Linklater without ever being overly emphatic about a single moment in this slice-of-life portrait of Anthony Bourdain during a summer that challenged him for the better. The same carefulness also applies to Johnson's approach toward Tony as a period piece concerning the summer of 1975, because he never exhausts you with pop cultural references from that year. Whether this is entirely accurate to Bourdain's experience, it is difficult to deny the love and enthusiasm that Johnson has for the subject. Part of Tony's triumph is that Dominic Sessa, the talented newcomer from the best movie of the decade so far, Alexander Payne's The Holdovers, has such a knack for playing a selfish, complicated character with such ease that you never find him insufferable, even when he is making terrible decisions. Sessa portrays this type of character so well that my only fear is how it could define his career through typecasting. While Sessa is integral to this film's core, the rest of the ensemble is equally engaging in what they bring to their roles, whether small or large, because of their authentic understanding and passion. From Leo Woodall's rebellious Sal to Antonio Banderas' chef, each of these characters is so alive that you could happily spend more time with them without the movie ever dragging dramatically. The movie is humorous in its raunchy kitchen talk, Tony's wisecracking way of lying to himself and others, and how Chef treats him through Pavlovian methods that make him eventually adapt to the schedule Chef has created for his workers. Johnson builds his study with a dramatic undercurrent that remains subtle until moments when the tension cuts through the current mood. Each random experience during Tony's summer leads toward an id versus superego confrontation for Tony by asking himself if he wants to live life selfishly and recklessly like Sal, or improve himself by way of what Chef and Amelia Jones's Nancy show him. Johnson cleverly juxtaposes Nancy's goodness with Sal's bad boy image to illustrate this dynamic on a beach by making Tony realize how he would face so many troubles with Sal. In lesser hands, these ideas would feel heavy-handed, but they feel so organic to the warm sensibility that Johnson gives this narrative and setting. Although they are different filmmakers stylistically, the delicacy of Johnson's tone in this movie reminded me of one of the great summer movies, Peter Yates's Breaking Away, because it executes its moments so naturally. Working with cinematographer Michael Bauman, Johnson's consideration of each sequence is aesthetically elegant, especially in lighting, so that you feel as if you are there and want to be there, due to the naturalistic color palette of the locations and the beautiful landscapes that surround Tony and the characters. When he decides to call himself Anthony instead of Tony to staff members during an admissions meeting at the Culinary Institute, the portrayal of maturity here is so compassionate that it never feels forced. Even within this generally trite genre, Johnson manages to make this coming-of-age story feel so fresh because of its unique circumstances and what he brings to it with his cast and crew, you leave the movie on an emotional high because of its graceful filmmaking and the emotionally credible performances, which make Anthony's humbling all the more satisfying. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great night.